Nathaniel P Hoot-Whistle, and recently I was paid a visit by my grandpa, and this is the same grandpa that left me, or rather gave me, his mansion. This is the rundown old mansion that eventually blew up and nearly killed us both. I didn't think I was going to see him again for a while, because I thought he had just gone off to the country to retire, and there he was, walking in through the door of my bar, and he said to me, Nathaniel, I want you to come with me, son. I want you to come on the journey with me. We're gonna go on a road trip, son. And there he's standing there holding his hot bowl of soup again, like he was last time, eating his hot tomato soup, burning his vocal cords again. And I said, Grandpa, I can't go on some damn road trip. I got this bar to look after, and I've spent too much time away from my bar lately, and my business is starting to suffer. I'm losing customers. And he said he didn't care. He said, Nathaniel, I might not be around for much longer, son, and you're gonna come with me on my road trip. Don't you let me down, boy. So, and he was very insistent. He was very, very forceful, and I didn't have the heart to say no, so I just found myself agreeing. So I'm locking up my bar, losing business again, and we just jumped in his car, and he starts driving down the street, the wrong side of the street, and he's lived in this country his whole damn life, and he's driving on the wrong side of the street, but it turns out he likes driving the wrong street, the other side of the street, just for fun. And he was laughing. And while watching all the other cars trying to avoid us, and he said he likes to play chicken with the other drivers, and he wants to see what they'll do. And that's all part of his fun. And as he was the one behind the wheel, there's nothing I could do about it. I was just along for the ride. So we just drove right out of town. Right down the highway, and my grandpa said, we had so much fun at my mansion, didn't we, son? I loved it when it blew up. I loved to see all the flames and explosions, son. And I said, Grandpa, that nearly killed us both. And I said, you think that was fun? And then he started laughing. See, he's completely insane. He always has been. His whole damn life. All the time I've known him, he has been insane. I think everyone in my family is insane, except for me. I don't really seem to attract insane people in my family, and all the people I meet are insane too. It's like some kind of goddamn curse, huh? And then as we're driving along, my grandpa decided that he would start driving the car faster and faster, and he would want to see how fast he could actually go. So he put his foot right down on the gas, and we just shot forward. And we were driving like 110 miles an hour. And unfortunately, there was a cop on the side of the road looking for people who were speeding, and the cop started to follow us. And my grandpa started laughing, his high-pitched laugh. He was actually driving with just one hand on the top of the wheel, because he had his bowl of soup in his left hand. And every now and then, he would actually take his hand off the wheel so he could eat the soup. And then he put his hand back on the wheel again, and he'd lose control of the car every time he did that, and we'd nearly be killed. And while we were driving at 110 miles an hour, he was doing this with the cop car chasing us. And he didn't seem to care, he just thought there was so much goddamn fun. And he was just laughing. And I thought, he seems even more insane every time I see him. And he was insane when I was a child. I could see we were coming up to some kind of ravine, and that there was a bridge going across the ravine. And my grandpa just shot right across that bridge, and the cop car, it couldn't keep up with us. It was just in the distance, but it was still coming. And he just jumped out of the car, and he was moving at high speed like he was a young man, probably because he was pumped full of adrenaline, but still with a bowl of soup in his hand. I think he was actually glued. I think he either had it sewn or glued to his hand. It seemed to be part of him. And he just went to that bridge, and he got out this huge sword. I don't know, he just had a sword in the trunk of his car. I don't know where the hell he got that from, but he got the sword, and he just hacked away at the bridge. Because the bridge was made of some kind of some kind of rope. It was held on with rope at either end, and he just hacked away at it, and the bridge just fell down into the ravine. And the cop car was driving as fast as it could, and when they didn't actually realize the bridge was gone, and then they hit their brakes and they saw it wasn't there, but it was too late, and the car just went down over the edge, down into the ravine, and just went to the bottom and it blew up. The whole goddamn car just blew up with the sheriff and his deputy inside. And my grandpa laughed. He laughed hysterically. He thought it was wonderful. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to get out the car and just walk, but we were in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and there was nothing for miles, so I would have died if I'd gone walking off trying to find my way home. So I just had to sit there. And my grandpa jumped back in the car, and we just carried on driving again. And then we drove into the small town, and we went into this diner, and we ordered some waffles and bacon and some maple syrup, and we just sat there eating the food. And then my grandpa got up and he went over to the counter to talk to the waitress, and I just carried on eating my food because I was so hungry. I was just consumed with hunger. And then I suddenly heard screams, and I looked up for my food, and my grandpa had a gun, and he was holding the place up. He was actually going to rob the goddamn place. He didn't need to. He was a millionaire. He's got so much goddamn money, and he got so much goddamn money he can never run out of it. He's got like a couple $100 million. He's filthy stinking rich, and he's robbing a small town diner just for kicks. I guess it's just for kicks, and they're handing over the money from the till and the money from the safe in the back room, and he starts pointing the gun at everyone in the diner, and everyone's just screaming, and he's laughing. And he says, "Come on, son, we're gonna get him out of here before the sheriff comes." And he just runs right out the door and jumps in his car, and I just ran after him and jumped in the car as well, and we just drove off high speed and into the distance right out of town. And I can't believe I'm on some crazy wild adventure with my grandpa, who is not quite who I thought he was. I thought he was just a practical joker, but he's actually a lot more dangerous than that. He's actually just killed the sheriff and his deputy, and he's just robbed the diner, and I didn't know he was capable of doing those kind of things. I just thought he was kind of like a almost harmless practical joker, apart from the fact he tried to kill us in his mansion. But I didn't think he would actually really kill anyone. But he is dangerous as hell. I didn't know how to get away from him. I'm just along for the ride while he has this wild, crazy adventure. Then my grandpa suddenly stopped the car, and he swung it around, and he started driving back into town. I thought, what you doing, Grandpa? You drive back into town, the cops are gonna get us. And are you that completely insane? And he just looked at me and winked. And I thought, what's the wink supposed to mean, son? And he drove right back to that diner, and he suddenly ran inside. I thought, oh, what, does he leave something behind? Something that he can't live without? And the next thing I know, suddenly he's coming back out the diner with the chef, who's got this portable grill kind of cooker thing, and a load of ingredients with him, and he's got the chef at gunpoint, and he's making the chef get in the back of the car. And then the grandpa jumps back in the car, and he looks right, he turns around and points to the chef, and he says, "You will cook my breakfast, son. You will cook my breakfast now." And then he just started driving again, with the gun still in his hand, with his hand under the wheel, and the other hand with a bowl of soup. Driving right out of town. And there's this terrified chef right in the back seat, and he's cooking away. He's cooking loads of food on this little portable oven griddle thing. and he's cooking up pancakes and other kinds of foods. Terrified, sweat dripping down his face. I thought my grandpa is truly gone. I think my grandpa is truly insane. And then after 10 minutes, I heard my grandpa suddenly say, "You finished making my breakfast, chef? You finished making my food, boy?" And the chef hands shakily, his hands are shaking, and he hands over the food to my grandpa. My grandpa takes his hand off the wheel, and the car starts to swerve, and then he turns around and he takes the plate from the chef, and he's just driving along with no hands on the wheel while he's eating his food. He's still got the ball of soap in his left hand, and then with the plate, he's kind of balancing the plate in his arm, and he's eating the pancakes with his right hand while holding a gun at the same time, with no hands on the wheel as we're driving along at like 75 miles an hour. And I thought, we're gonna die. We're gonna die any moment now. This car is gonna crash and we are gonna die. And I was gonna put my hand on the wheel to stabilize us, and my grandpa pointed the gun at me, and he said, "Don't you dare touch that wheel, boy. No one touched that wheel but me, boy." And there's nothing I could do, because my grandpa, I think he actually would shoot me. I think he is that crazy. He would actually shoot me if I touched the wheel of his car. So my grandpa, he finishes eating, and then he throws a plate out of the car, and it actually hit someone on the head that was walking down the street. And I saw them just fall down like a skittle. They just fell right down. I saw a little bit of blood in their head, so I don't know if he killed them too. And then I saw lots of people just running around and just seeing to the guy, seeing if he was okay. I think somebody was calling the cops, and someone actually wrote down the license plate of the car. So I thought, pretty soon we're gonna have cops after us. And my grandpa starts laughing again. And he's just getting more and more hyper. Just loving what's going on. And the chef asked if he could be released. "Please let me go, sir. I can't. I have a family, and I need to get home to my family." And my grandpa just turned around, taking his hands off the wheel again, and pointed the gun at the chef's head, and he said, "Shut your goddamn mouth, boy. You shut your goddamn mouth." And then he just carried on driving. And the chef just had to sit there and be my grandpa's hostage. I guess that's what you call him. He's hostage. And I tried to tell the chef, this has nothing to do with me. I'm not part of this. I said I'm basically a hostage too. And my grandpa has kidnapped me, or virtually kidnapped me, and he won't let me go. Which in a way is kind of true, because if I tried to leave, I think he would kill me. So I'm just there, going along with my grandpa on his insane adventure. There's not a damn thing I can do.